Hello and welcome, Mr. Odin Lemont here, and generally, I'm a bit of a writer myself, and I want to get into the writing scene. I'm already writing a book which I'm hoping to animate as a manga. I've got 33 chapters of that already written. I've also got another side story that I've been writing in the meantime. So I decided to try and get a bit more attention because I'm such I'm going to do a bit of I'm going to read a bit of the other story. Now, I've cut it into like 200 to 300 word chapters. It's kind of short, but and I apologize if because you're looking at the bit on screen. I apologize for the absolutely horrible looking spellings. I suck at spellings. A writer who sucks at spellings. What are the odds? But anyway, right. I'm going to start. This is called Zach's story, and it's about a vampire. That's all I'm going to say. It's about a vampire. And it's certainly not like Twilight. So, I hope you all understand that. Okay. The dull TV lit up the dark room in the flat in Southampton. It was home to a curious creature known as Zack. The reason as to why Zack is so curious is due to the fact that he's inflicted with, for lack of a better word, power. He is a vampire. Before you start to worry, screaming in fear, or begin to romanticize like in idiotic lust, he is an ancient. An ancient is a vampire who has chosen to live long without torture, murder, death, typically associated with the more barbaric of the species. They use the time to learn and grow, and become, ma- sorry, and most become scientists, scholars, historians, etc. They live and behave mostly like humans, doing what many humans do. Zack was. Zack was. That doesn't make sense. Oh, sorry. Zack was the same. He spent hours playing most video games, reading and writing. Zack stared into the screen, his eyes unfocused and sore. He was tired after staying up all day to play Call of Duty and not drinking any bottled blood for at least a week. Yes, he drinks blood. It's an unfortunate need, but since the reveal of vampires, the government started bottling blood to sell to the new market. And since vampires cannot become infected with diseases, the donors usually have some blood defect. Quick money for diseased donors, easy food for the vampire community. Win-win. The day was getting late, and Zack needed sleep. He turned off his game, and darkness set in his eyes. His eyes instantly went into vampire mode and allowed him to see into the blackness. He got up and wandered through the dark rooms towards the back room. He opened the door and stepped in, pulling the rope light string. The harsh artificial light blinded him as it lit up the dark, dense bathroom. It sent spiders running for cover as the cheap bed was illuminated. Bedroom, not bathroom, sorry. Zack sat down and began to change, and sighed, thinking of his own lonely existence. He laid down, pulled the rope light, and disappeared into the darkness, to start again the same depressive, boring night again tomorrow. As you can see, it's kind of like a bit of a depressing story. How long has that taken? It's 3 minutes 40 seconds. I'll tell you what. I'll read part two. Right, back here with part two. Right. Zack's eyes flickered open in the dense blackness, pupils dilating as they searched for seeming non-existent light. He knew very well that his curse allowed him perfect vision in any darkness, but he hated anything to do with that side of his life, that he refused to use any abilities it gave him. Not to mention the gloom that encased him was just his own bedroom, and everything was memorized regardless. The sharp snag of a switch and a dull blinding light illuminated what his memory expected. The browning paper walls that started out pale yellow, adorned with posters, some quite faded, others clear, showing different rock bands and video games. The chest of drawers with its broken bottom drawer and cheap television sat on top it, unused for some time. His tall, impressive Victorian wardrobe that he adored, his small wooden bedside unit, lamp and phone, and finally his bed. It was heavy with gloom and depression, but it was his room, and he liked it all the same. The buzz of his mobile told him he'd woken up slightly early, so he checked his old wristwatch and read 20:55, or 5 to 9. the time he had expected. An hour to get ready and go. He opened the bedroom door and looked down the small hall to see his previous night's game still loaded up, but paused. He slouched into his dingy little bathroom, not bothering with the light. He used the loo, washed up, and left towards the kitchen. He was once again blinded, but this time by the fridge light, and was mildly surprised to find that his milk was still in date. He spent the rest of the evening with a warm cup of tea, a bowl of cereal, and finished his level. Another buzz from his Sony announced that it was once again time to wander off for work. How long was that? What time's that? 5:43? Ah, damn it, my thing's not working. 5:47. I think I'll read number 3 for you. Give me one moment to get it up. Yeah, penis joke aside, thank you. Right, this one's a bit longer, so I apologise. Right. The strangely cold summer air and light, almost misty rain swirled and whistled around him as Zack made his way to work. It was early enough for people to still be walking around, but most just hobbled along wrapped in coats and scarves and gloves. The traffic lumbered past, dragging more wind and rain in their wake as they sped down the road and sprayed anybody on the pedestrian path. Strangely, Zack liked this kind of night. The rain didn't bother him, and he never got cold. People usually avoided him anyway. He turned off the main road and roared quietly, and the roaring quieted almost immediately, which left his footsteps the only sound. The solitary yellow lamp lit up the small British word there. Basically, it means like an alleyway. The small ginnel as he passed through. 5 minutes later, he arrived at the centre. This place he worked was a special centre designed to help aid higher species humans. In other words, it helped vampires, werewolves, monsters, and all manner of strange creatures he'd seen. He'd seen a mermaid once, though she was quite pretty, and Zack couldn't be arsed with her moaning. He put his uniform in the cold, dim changing room, the singular bulb hardly lighting the room. As he turned to leave, the room spun slightly. He needed blood. His levels were going down, and sure enough, the watch on his wrist beeped to show the low blood count. Today, it was so low he could indulge on some human blood. He walked towards the electronic vending machine and swiped his watch over the scanner. The metallic female voice spoke out. Less than 20% blood count. Please pick up blood restoration pack. He punched in the number and the voice rang out. Please note, this blood has AIDS disease present. Only Tier 5 higher creatures, Master, Ancients, Reavers, etc. can ingest. Please confirm status. Zack swiped the data watch again, and the blood pack dropped out. Have a nice night, the machine said before falling silent. Zack opened the bottle and gulped down the iron-flavoured liquid, shuddering as he did. After a second or two, he felt back at 100% and continued on his way to the doors. Brian, the other guard, was already waiting in order to open the doors. Got it, fine, aren't you, lad? He said in his thick Manchester. Ah, damn it. I just did a Somerset accent from Manchester. Got it, fine, aren't you, lad? I can't do Manchester, sorry. He said in his thick Manchester accent. He too was an ancient, though he looked in his 50s. He was only 257 years old and a lot younger than Zack. Zack brushed off the comment and opened the door. For the patrons, being an ancient, Zack had some powers, one of which he could shut off was his eyesight. However, it came in useful. He could see more detail and tell what most creatures are, which, as a security guard, was a bonus. His usual grim face stared into the cloud as he picked out faces. Another monotonous night. Right. Let's see, what's that? Almost 10 minutes. Right. I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did enjoy it, please, comment and everything. Give me some suggestions and stuff. I want to know your opinions. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day or night.